Hey, all you beautiful people. Welcome back to another classroom, and I have a good one for you. I am joined by Mason Shishaware, CEO, president for the Hair Club for Men. Perfect hair. Mr. Nino himself. How you doing, buddy?
I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much with the best in the business. Thank you for taking time out of your day to get to know me a little bit better.
Well, technically, I'm kind of retired, so I have tons of time in my day. So, real quick, before we start anything, cheers. I don't know if you're drinking moonshine or what the hell is that? Okay.
This is called Make America Juicy Again. It's like a juicy IPA. It's like my, I didn't plan this. It was just what was in my fridge today.
All right, guys, thank you for coming to the classroom. That's the end of the classroom. Have a great time.
Thank you for sponsoring me. No, but what are you drinking?
I'm drinking some Yingling, America's oldest beer, if I'm correct. I know Jeremy Bird's in here, so he will tell you up. So really quick, Nino, a fellow enthusiast, an innovator, a creator of Mason Shisha Ware. I refer to you kind of as the Steve Jobs of bowls. I think that's the best and accurate way.
That's a huge honor.
That's the way to really like brand you. I mean, I think that's it's crazy. I mean, you're what do you have? Based out of a private studio. You guys have a private studio in Chicago. I mean, you have a brand that includes Eclipse mouthpieces, Artisan Glass, timber handles. You have the Onyx Bowl, the Grand Onyx Bowl, and the Helix Bowl. And he also has one of the fucking fanciest oyster forks I have fucking ever seen. You thought I was gonna fucking miss that? No, motherfucker. I saw that shit. I saw that shit. That shit is bougie as fuck. I don't know how you got that up there and fucking John doesn't. That shit is fucking bananas. If you haven't seen it, if you have not seen this oyster fork, go to his fucking website and check it out. I mean, shit, dude. What is that? Part of a fucking fancy silverware collection? Like, where'd you get that shit from?
I am glad. It looks like you could find it like from the Titanic, right? Like it could just like fall out from like a treasure chest.
Dude, like I looked at that shit, I was like, damn, this is something Ariel has in her hair. What is this?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, that's what it looks like. Really quick, I mean, if you guys know Nino at this point. For all the new members, this is him. Here he is. I know a lot of you guys have been able to see his products. Been able to reach to him on all his social media. You got the Facebook. You have your personal page. You have the Instagram, right? You have Instagram. You have Twitter as well.
I don't have Twitter. I need to get on Twitter because I should hit all the bases. I just didn't. I'm not a huge Twitter guy. I'm also on Reddit. I'm always very active on Reddit because I am a Redditor. So Twitter is one of the things, like I can only split myself so many ways. I would love though. I probably should. Do you still use Twitter that much?
Absolutely not. I think we're too old for Twitter. I think we're too old to be tweeting. We don't have anything interesting to say. No one will listen to us. We're not 15 years old. So no one likes our tweets. So really quickly, 2017 was a massive year for Mason. It came out with new products, new more batch releases than you did the previous year. At least it feels that way. You had so many different colors, and I know Travis Lee is a big fan of the way you use purple. It's amazing. So it was a massive year. Also, he did multiple releases his products have been reviewed by so many different people. You have AM Hookah Podcast, you have Matt Dezen, Adrian Hunter, Strictly Shisha, Rob Picaro, and the list goes on of all the reviewers. I haven't reviewed it because I never stay awake to the point that when I never make his batch releases. I always wake up too late in the day, and that's my fault.
I'm going to tell you, I've had people call off of work, they told me, which I feel so bad about. Like, they're like, hey, what time is your release? I'm calling off of work to make sure I'm there. I'm like, what? Are you serious? I got people in Australia. Shout out to all my Aussies. Like, it's huge. It's growing big. They just found out about me only like 3 months ago. So, like, we've been around since 2016, and they're just catching on to it. It's selling like crazy over there. And I'm getting like all kinds of the same questions that I got 2 years ago, which is kind of refreshing a little bit.
Yeah.
But talk about a time change. Like when I release, it's 3 a.m. over there, and sometimes some of them are awake to get some of that stuff. So I really appreciate all of that, and I have to change it. I have to get you some stuff.
I will take responsibility. I'm the worst person when it comes to batch releases. Stone, Kyle Smith, and you, the top 3 artisans that we have making bowl manufacturers, and they're all U.S. based. Suck it, Turkey. So you guys are constantly raked, constantly coming out with new products. I will force you, Kyle. Kyle Smith, if you hear me, you better be making new products because me and Nino are gonna force you.
I've been telling Kyle to do it too. Like, I'm like, hey, Kyle, I can't wait to see some of your stuff. I'm a fan of his work as well. So,
do you feel, as someone who's in the bowl market, when other people release products, and I think we're in a day and age, we've gone past the fucking, I guess, our negative renaissance as far as hookah communities. You can honestly say when a competitor, because they all competitors, they all trying to make money at the end of the day. Everyone's trying to make dollars, and if you don't like it, tough shit. Too fucking bad. And when you see Stone come out with something, or you see, like, say, Kyle Smith, or even Hazy Bowls. I'm sorry, Hazy Bowls. I know you're out there. You're making money, too. Do you be like, damn, okay, I see what they did. I'm going to get back to the fucking workshop. We're going to fucking slave these elves real quick, and we're going to make a bunch of fucking bowls and get this shit working. Does that inspire you to keep it pushing? Like, that's this competitive market that you're in?
You look, you always competition is good for everybody involved. It's good for the consumer because it allows innovation, right? And it's good. It's definitely good to keep everybody on their toes. Mm-hmm. And as a fellow, especially in the U.S. market, I love when companies release things and they're innovative about it. Like, if it's a money grab, that's when I can get frustrated. When I know it's like something that is just like, all right, you didn't really do anything. You probably kind of influenced way too much off of one thing. That's a little bit disappointing to see. But when it's something new, refreshing, a new take on something, love it. Like, as someone that's constantly always trying to think also outside of the box, mm-hmm. it's all you have to respect that a lot.
I mean, Nino, I know there was a lot of controversy about batch releases, but I mean, the model that you put forth, like, if this was a year ago, I felt like maybe I was a different person. I saw things differently. After sitting down, talking to you, and really getting to know you in Chicago, whenever we meet, it's always a fucking pleasure. We always have a great time. You always have a smile on your face. After really picking your brain and understanding why you do certain things, I think the way you do your business model, for any artisan, for anyone who's making a product themselves and branding it themselves and wants to control and wants to make sure their baby is kept in the right realm and always have the right spotlight on it, I think the business model that you put forth is the best business model.
Thank you. And let me explain one thing. I think we talked about this a little bit before as well. So when you're making something that's high quality, that's made in the United States, I felt that the easiest way to give, like, some people might say, oh, $40 for a bowl. Well, the thing is, my cost is higher than most of the bowls out there. My cost is like higher. So the only way to get it out, even at that $45 mark, for example, as the Onyx, is to go direct to consumer. Uh-huh. If I went through distributors or through different vendors, they have to have their markup, and I wouldn't be able to have it that cheap. Like, if you see my bowls sometimes overseas, for example, they put their markup because, like, sometimes, like you said, people can't wait till 4 a.m. or whatever time is in their time zone. So I try to release stuff to different vendors overseas so that they can get their hands on it. But the price is always higher than what it is direct on my website. And I could easily say, well, let's say Germany's selling it for $70. I'm going to sell it for $70 to match. but I'm always constantly trying to, I know I can sell my bowl for more than what it is. And in fact, I've had people say, you know what, I feel better if it was a little bit more expensive. It makes me feel better that I'm spending more money on something, believe it or not. Like there are people that have told me that, right? And I'm like, no. Like I want to be able to get it in as many people's hands as possible. And US is still my biggest market. And I feel the best way to do that is to grow my own audience organically and be able to sell direct to consumer. I feel like that's part of the reason why I've been able to be successful is I'm not depending on someone else to market. I'm not depending on someone else to distribute it. I'm doing it all myself. It's hell of a lot of work, but as you can see, it's definitely paid off.
Now, Nino, do you like, this brings me into another segue. Just before we even got on here, I was shown a listing on eBay. Now, I know a lot of people with batch releases, it's fucking hard sometimes to get the product. I know you've been reprimanded in the past for this. But this is, if you look at Stone, look at Kyle, look at Hazy Bowls, everyone does batch releases because they're one person, basically. They can only do so much. Now, even though Nino doesn't make every bowl by hand, he's still in charge of the whole production. This is why I call it a Steve Jobs. He's the maestro. He makes everything move. He does the marketing. He does the sending it out. He had his goddamn grandmother packing the bowls into the boxes. This is like, people forget sometimes, like they look at you, they see the shirts, they see the pictures, they don't realize the hard work that goes into it. And the more people you talk to, the more creators and the more people who are making stuff on a smaller batch, this is how you have to do stuff. But I noticed more recently on your website, you've been posting more stuff one per customer. Is this to combat the reselling of your products, to keep more control, to keep the cost down on your end?
So for something like this, like, so what you're referring to is like the Indigo Onyx, which something that I'm doing as a limited release because we hit 9,000 followers. I always try to, as soon as we hit like a milestone on Instagram, because our account is growing, and we really appreciate that. We want to do something special. Now, the thing is I know that, you know, we're only going to make this glaze, for example, like one and done. Like once this is out, it's not coming back. And because I want to combat, people buying like 3 of them or whatever and trying to resell them. I want to do one per customer because I want them in as many hands as possible. Because at the end of the day, the more customers that I connect with, the better it is to build a lifelong customer.
Mm-hmm. So the one for one, are you trying to stop? Like, we all love Gobin, but he got a bad rap too, and he's a great guy. But the thing is, like, you don't want someone buying out your own stock before anyone can get a chance to actually get one, and then leave a sour taste in people's mouth, and then see the only way for them to get it is in the reseller market. And I know that's something that you personally have to combat, your personal product. And it goes to the point that your product speaks for itself. It's popular enough that people are buying it, just like a pair of Nikes, just buy an iPhone, just like all these other premium products, just like a car, right? These like premium products that people are actually because you're not putting so much the premium thing as the community sees the worth in it. You're not being like, hey guys, limited edition, only one of 6, you can only get these here, this is your last chance. You're not actively going out there doing it. Sometimes you do make a one-of-one bowl, or you have that one bowl left, and that happens. Other people have done it as well. But you see that there is a demand, that people are actively reselling it. It goes back to the batch releases. Do you feel like your batch releases have gotten, like, you've been able to make more bowls as your production has increased since 2016? Do you feel like you've been able to do like more bowls per batch release? Like, can you give me a ballpark number of what it was to what it is now?
I'll give you a ballpark number. At the very beginning, it was probably in the 50s, maybe low, like maybe between 40 and 50, and now we're doing well over 150 of them a batch. So just as I've told people that we were committed to increasing production, that's what we did. One of the things that people have to understand is, as a small artisan, it's really hard unless you have an insane amount of capital to just say, hey, I want from the get-go you to make thousands of something and hire all these people and hope to God that it becomes a success and it continues to stay that way. So I have to start small. I mean, we're still small we're still small compared to others, but we definitely have reinvested every hard-earned dollar that we've received, and you can see that because we only started with the Onyx. We had the Onyx probably, and that was our only product for like 8-9 months. And then as we were making money, we reinvested to innovate to, let's say, like I said, for the hose, which now sells just as well as the bowl. So it was amazing to be able to do that. But I'm not resting on my laurels. You see other companies, they have one hit wonder, and then they just kind of milk that. Like, I'm constantly trying to come out with something new. I mean, the Artisan Glass is something that we just came out with this year.
Yeah, I don't think, Nino, I don't think anyone. I mean, we see the hard work. How many batch releases would you say in a given year that you can push out?
Well, so the way that I do it is I build up the whole batch for a month because we make all the bowls, put them in a kiln. As soon as the batch is big enough, we put them in the kiln. They get glazed, and then I release them all at once. So it's usually, that's why I do it once a month. Okay. So like the process is you can't cheat that process. It still takes time to make the clay and all that stuff.
Because when you start cheating the process, the product, the reliability and the way the expectation of the bowl will basically be diminished because you're trying to rush products out.
I think we're all familiar with some of the gas station hookahs with the cheap porcelain.
Hey, don't you dare knock my all plastic hookah that we smoked with a giant fucking coal.
They're the gateway drug to the
gateway drug, yes.
Yeah, but so they have their place, right? But there's a reason why those are made the way that they are, because in China they can make those super, super quick out of a mold. Like if you see even the current Onyxes, which you can even Jeremy can attest for an example. He like raved once he got one of the newer ones a month ago. They're thicker, they hold heat even better, they last longer, and they're more durable because they're so thick. That takes a lot of time to be able to make something this thick. That's the reason why you don't see that right now in the market, because people are not willing to wait that long. Like this bowl will take a whole day sitting just to be able to make it this way. I can't. These other brands, they're trying to money grab, is what I was telling you about at the beginning. They want to pump as many out as possible. Instead, what we did is at the beginning they were thinner because we were just learning, and then we ended up incurring an extra cost by trying to make them thicker. I didn't have to do that. We were selling when they were thinner.
Well, I also think, that if someone had maybe a crack in their bowl, I know you have a reputation of being able to people to reach out to you and send you a picture, be like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. I will send you another one out, or I'll send you one from the next batch release. I've heard stories that you've done that, and you have a good reputation of taking care of those customers. You have a premium price. Most bowls do that are artisan craft, handcrafted, take time to make. But also it comes that people don't realize when you're paying this amount also comes with the customer service, making sure you're taken care of going into the future and making sure that you feel confident to buy another one. Because if you buy one product, you try to reach the people you bought, they don't get back to you. You're going to say, screw this, I'm not buying another product. So you have a very good reputation with that. Now, let's talk about your next release real quick. Now, your next release, as per the website, drops in about 3 days. Now, if you look at the pictures that are up there, he's going to be dropping different colors: the diesel, the rustic rojo, blue steel, mystic jade, which looks very good, and the midnight opal. So what's going on with this release right now?
So this release will not have any of those colors that you just said, because those are our normal colors. So we are still sold out of those. We're working on a batch release, which is actually going to be done in the next week. So I should have another batch ready to go. So I'm going to start building up that batch to go out probably in a couple weeks to go out on a new release. But this release, we wanted to do something special again because we hit 9K in followers. So we're doing the Indigo Onyx, which is a special colorway. We're doing it because, let's be honest, we have a lot of bowl collectors out there. There's a lot of people that really, want these kind of things in their collection. So to give back to you guys, we want to make something super special. I mean, check out this Grand Onyx with that resin. This is kind of newer again. We just came out with this 3 months ago, and it's the first Grand Onyx that we've had in 2 months.
I just realized that you have a sticker there, right? Yeah. So let's hold on. Let me switch over to give the Mason Cam, the new and improved Mason Cam, ladies and gentlemen. So now you can actually see it. So what is that sticker there? Is that authentication to make sure it's from you, or is that what is that for? Is that like an anti-copyright type thing?
I mean, it's a hologram with our logo, and it says authentic on it. I'm hoping, obviously, that people don't try to start copying that as well. But in this industry, you never know, right?
Nino, I won't put you on that path, bro. I won't make you go down that road. So let's switch back over real quick. So that's his next release. Look out on his website. Check out, because I know. Listen, like, you have your Mason is known for putting out totally different colors. Like, if he puts out a batch release, you don't like any of these colors, you wait a month. The next release is probably going to have your colors. Like, you're very good at switching the colors up, mainly never doing the same thing twice. I know Stone's really good with that as well, always changing the aesthetics, making different clay or whatnot. So let's get into some questions that were given to me by people who either hit me up in the DMs, they slid into my DMs, they gave me a couple questions, or they just asked me when I was on either one of my Facebook Lives. So the number one question, well, the first question, not the number one. Shisha is proprietary clay body, optimizing for your hookah sessions. What makes the clay body proprietary without giving any specifics? I don't want to give any specifics, but is it something? Is it a mixture? Is it the way you pour, the way you mold? Is it something that you can tell us on what makes it proprietary?
Yeah, I mean, so every clay is created differently. I get questions all the time like, why does your bowl smoke better than, let's say, my other bowl or this bowl or whatnot? I mean, it's not just all the shape, it's also the material that it's made of. You have red clay, you have stoneware, but even within stoneware, which we see a lot of bowls, is the newest trend to have stoneware bowls. Not all stoneware is the same. It's made out of different minerals and got different properties within that. And so some of them are actually more porous than others. And that kind of leads me to the thermal shock. When we were creating the actual clay body, we wanted to make, I'm sure you're very well aware of seeing bowls that after a certain amount of time, they start getting cracks and juices start coming out the other side.
Yes,
right?
that happens a lot, yes.
Okay. So what's happening there is the clay is porous, and each clay has a shrinkage rate as well. So every clay body can vary between like 1% to 5% shrinkage. Now, in my bowl, all clay is going to shrink. And when you start seeing cracks in the glaze, it's impossible to get around that. With my bowl, it's a lot easier to see because it's clear at the top. And I just kind of wanted that just to it just shows like the usage of the bowl and all of that. But when the clay shrinks, if it shrinks too much, let's say you have a 5% clay body shrinkage rate, what happens is the juices start getting soaked in by the clay, and then they expel out on the other side. Okay, so you'll see certain clay bodies that are 3 to 5%. Now there's ways to test, and we've tested ours, and ours is at 1%, which is the lowest that we could find. So that's why you never see one of our bowls that actually it beads on the outside like that. Now,
I have a question directly from you, not to get you off topic, but Matt doesn't ask, does it affect the session? I personally think it obviously does not. It just, you can see it. So I have Don bowls that I've had for like a year and a half. Milk fire Don bowls. So they milk fire it to try to insulate it and to create that glaze, like what he's talking about. But I don't know what their percentage is. Now, does it affect the overall session? No, but I mean, you can see it happening. And we're talking about, like, if you're using a Mason bowl for like a year straight, like this is your daily driver, it's possible over time this is going to happen. Like he's saying, it's clay. It's going to happen. It's not infallible. This is going to happen.
Well, let me clarify that point really quick. So there's a difference between glaze cracking, which is what happens with our bowl, but our bowl the clay doesn't actually crack within it and pour out on the other side. Okay. That's a difference. They all do. The glaze all crack, but there's a difference between the actual clay absorbing the juice and expelling it out the other side. What the only difference is, will it affect your session? No, not really, except for the fact that you're going to have juices that are within the clay. But the thing is, over time, that bowl is going to be susceptible to breaking because it's creating those fissures within the clay, and over time, it's going to break. It's going to fall apart at one point in time.
I think a good way to start telling the lifespan of your bowl, because you can't smoke out of one bowl. Like, listen, on Hookah University in the past week, we've seen people who dropped their older bowls. Meanwhile, if they drop a newer bowl, that bowl might be able to hold better. If you drop a bowl that you've been smoking out of for 2 years, that thing's it has microfractures. It's more susceptible to these things. Like, granted, guys, like just like your hose, just like a hose, eventually you got to change this bad boy out. You got to change the silicone. You got to change the stuff. Same thing with bowls. But, I mean, if you can get a year, I think if you can get a year to a year and a half out of one bowl, that speaks to the longevity and the quality it's made out of. You know, so, like, this is just, like, basic 101 usage over time and stuff like that. So, you talked about thermal shock. We talk about what makes it proprietary. Now, let's go into like the products out on the site. You have almost doubled from last year. It feels like your products that you had out. You had like we talked about before. You have the Eclipse mouthpieces. You have the Artisan Glass bases. He constantly coming out with new timber hoses. There it is, right there. Then you have obviously the staples. You have the Onyx, the Grand Onyx, and the Helix bowls. Now. Going forward, do you feel like you're gonna add another bowl to that family? I feel like four. Like I don't like uneven numbers, and I feel like you should have. I feel like there should be a fourth one in there. Is it possible down the road that you're looking at adding to the family? Maybe something a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I would love to do that. The thing is though, with every bowl that we've made, it's always been a hit. It's always been a wow factor. I mean, like even the Helix, when I first made it, it looked so different. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if people think about it. And it was a hit because it was so different. The only way I'm going to come out with something new is if I know that I got a hit on my hands, right? I don't want to just make something as a money grab. I can put my name on any bowl at this point. It will sell at least for the first whatever amount of time because people want whatever's new, right? I mean, I'm an enthusiast. I know how it works. I used to do the same thing. But I want something that I consistently back, that I think that there's a reason why I'm making that. I don't want to just rename something and change a little bit of the shape and put it out there. It's got to function differently. It's got to look like something that's not out there. So, right now,
well, you know what, Nino? Let's put it this way. If you decide to create something new with the same quality that we've come to know from Mason and the same, different types of fucking thing, different types of colors, you got a great fan base here in Hookah University. You got a lot of people that you can experiment and test the waters. I'm just saying.
No, definitely.
I'm just saying, Hookah University would love to have a new type of bowl from Nino. Let's go.
Every bowl that we've come out with we've always reached out to multiple people in the community to test it out first. Because I know that I smoke differently or different temperature and different tobaccos than someone else.
Well, fuck, Nino. Where the fuck's my invite? Where the fuck? I'm going to throw him on the spot now.
The new one, whenever there is a new one that comes out, you have it here first.
Damn right. We're going to come back on here. We'll do this again with that.
And if it sucks, I'm going to blame it on you. I'm going to say, you told me this was good.
Just call it the noob sauce ball. Everyone will fucking just put it on me. It's fine. So really quickly, I don't want to touch too much on the expo because we will get your thoughts on that. Do you think the expo kind of misses the whole artisan mark? Do you feel like there is a lot of creativity, there's a lot of products coming from overseas, but there's not that, you're there, you're obviously there in presence, but do you feel like there should be something in the U.S. market, right? There's a lot of artisans we have here, not necessarily struggling because you guys are not struggling. You don't need the expo to succeed. That's not what I'm saying. But do you feel like there should be more of a section where maybe there's an artisan touch, maybe where people feel more connected with the individual who's behind the actual manufacturing of a certain product? It doesn't have to be bowls. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, at the end of the day, you do see a lot of the artisans that do attend, and there's probably other artisans at home that maybe it's expensive to go out there and whatnot. And all artisans, especially that are making a product, it's very time consuming and very all their money is being pumped into making their artwork and their craft, right? Mm-hmm. At the very beginning, especially because I even know money is tight at the very beginning, and the one thing with the expos is there's a certain price, and that price is a good number, right? It's a hefty number for a small artisan, and that kind of keeps them out of there. But then again, if you lower that price for an artisan, then you have a big brand that says, well, that's not fair. Why am I paying double to be here, and this artisan is paying this amount of money? So it's very tough. I can see why they do what they do. I mean, they after all, they have a bit of rent to pay in that convention space,
but
right?
You know what? In all honestly, there's a big difference between like a booth that Al Fokker has and Zoomerette and Fumari and a 4x4 foot table, something like maybe that Aeon had. There's a big price gap because there's things that you can't have people sit down and try your products. They have to stand up, so it's awkward. You can't bring as much product, and you can't have as much product there. So I feel like there should be some type of wiggle room for someone who maybe, okay, listen, I only have $5,000, right? What does that get me? There should maybe just be a table, or maybe you could put two artisans together. I feel like that's going down the rabbit hole. That's going down the rabbit hole. In a perfect world, I would like to have everyone represented, but maybe in the future, the more people who come out, hopefully we can lower that bar to get, like, to well represent the people who are working hard here in America to really keep hookah at a certain spot. You know, but I don't want to get down that road. So,
but not to jump the gun, but that's kind of the reason why we did a grassroots Chicago hookah meetup too. You know, like over there's no entrance. The entrance fee is $15.
No, don't talk about it. We're not there yet. God damn it, Nino.
But I'm saying, like, that's a leaping point. Like, that's at least something there. But you're right. It would be beautiful to see something like that. But again, it's the price entry. It's gonna weed out some of that, and that's just, you know, it's not to say it's wrong. It's just what it is.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Rudy says, "What's up, Nino?" You got people in here. You got Matt Dezen. You got Bob Gugliesco. I always butcher his name because I said Matt Dezen first, so I can't say any names now. Austin Coulter, George Martinez, Callie, Frank Simmons, Paul Seelau. What's up? You got Cameron. You got Maggie. Matavi, I always say his fucking name wrong. I'm so sorry, dude. You got so many people in here. You got Tam. You got a bunch of people in here. Hello to everyone who is watching. Thank you for tuning in. Paul just typed exclamation bowls. That is the wrong chat. Thank you very much. And then you got Travis Green over there and AM Hookah Podcast in the YouTube. So hello to everyone there. On a different topic, where the fuck is the Hookah University discount code?
So I appreciate the love from HU. I mean, you guys have done a great job, and you guys are killing it. And we'll talk more about that, about the party. Mind blowing, right? Right now, I don't have any discount codes whatsoever because right now, I mean, let's be honest. If you're selling out and you're, you know, small artisan, it's tough to like lower that, right?
I understand. You're in the business of selling bowls. You don't need to.
Yeah, it's something that's on my radar. Right, but
listen. Black Friday's a thing, Nino. Black Friday's a thing. I'm just saying, if somehow on Black Friday you had some inventory lying around, and maybe you wanted to get rid of some of these products, and you happen to be like, hey, today's a great day, Black Friday, this whole week, you can use a Hookah University discount code. Cha-ching, money in the pockets, wide eyes. I'm just saying, maybe once a year, maybe we experiment with that a little bit, see where it goes, you know, a little reach around.
If it happens, it'll be Noob Sauce 10 or Noob Sauce 15.
Then no one's going to use it. No one watches me. What are you talking about? I'm fucking a nobody. All right, so basically this year, huge year, Artisan Glass. Big deal, right? You've had what, like 3 or 4 releases of the Artisan Glass now?
Yeah, about like 4 releases, and they're killing it. Like they're selling out every single time, which is amazing. I mean, at the beginning, I was a little bit worried, like, what does the market think? And it's a totally different price point than what's out there in the market for what we're making.
I get it, Nino. Really quick, I'm gonna go take a piss real quick. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna. Yep, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta pee. So what we're gonna do right now, I'm gonna let you run through the Artisan Glasses real quick and show the people what you got here, and I'm gonna be right back, and I'll take my beer with me.
So on Sunday, we're gonna have, first of all, we're gonna have something we didn't touch on. We're gonna have new timber varieties on there. I like this one, like this Iron Man over here. It's pretty cool. This color way over here. We have tons of new colors coming on Sunday, but we're also going to have the Artisan Glass. And one of the things about the Artisan Glass is everybody who's seen them has loved them. In person, they look so much better. I mean, pictures and videos can't do it justice. I mean, you see the sheen off of this. This is not something that can be duplicated by a mold in China. It's something that we're super proud to put out there. You know, we're working with a guy that is a glass artisan for 20 years. He's a master in his craft, and he's able to take time out of his day to help create something for the hookah community. It was very difficult to do. Not a lot of people want to, it's $130 to $140. But the thing is, the reality of it is out there, it was so difficult to even find someone that was willing to do it at the price where I can even offer it at that. I mean, you're talking about guys that are making glass pieces that are $400 or $500. So to be able to make something where I can sell this for $130, $140 to you guys, it's something that, who knows, to be honest with you, how long I can continue to do it. So if you like it, please come, please support. We have our logo at the bottom of each one. You see that over there. And we got our hologram for authenticity. So, you spend your hard-earned money on one of our bases, and we want to make sure that we have our mark on there. So again, it fits. Another key thing is we made it and designed the opening and the length to fit traditional and modern stems, which we all know there's a lot of stems out there. Oh, this doesn't fit this base. This doesn't fit. You don't have to worry about that. Obviously, if you're working with a small, like a Reaper or something that's totally kind of different, that's kind of like, the exclusion. But any Russian stem or any traditional KM, Shika, the sky's the limit. They all will fit with the right grommet. They all fit. And we also sell the grommets on the website to make sure that they fit.
Okay, to interrupt Nino's fire sale here real quick, we got a couple questions, Nino, for you.
Sure.
Paul Seelau hitting with the heavy questions. Nino, where do you think the artisan market is going towards the near future? 1 to 2 years.
I think. I feel like people are starting to really see the success of the artisan market, and you even start seeing some bigger brands that are coming out with like an artisan like side piece. Like, I'm not going to mention the brands, but I think some of you guys know which one I'm talking about. I mean, even tobacco. You saw artisan craft or craft tobacco.
And can we say how good that shit was?
Yeah. So
you have to have a big dick to come out to an expo that you paid thousands of dollars for and just drop 3 flavors. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like craft brewery. I mean, there's the Bud, the Miller out there and all that, but it's cool to have something that's craft and small batch. People love that, right? So I continue to see that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to invest in that. However, in that, there's a lot of people trying to take advantage of that. And we've seen that with some other brands. I don't know if you guys seen the new hose that's like a $25 resin and whatnot that's out there. So there's people that are going to copy that in a mass production function to try to copy that artisan vibe. And we're going to leave that up to the consumer to see if you guys are, let's say, educated enough, right? If you guys like it, great. But if you guys actually got by it and the quality's not there, that artisan quality's not there, then make sure that you speak up and you, at the end of the day, your money is what talks for you. So
exactly. So if you buy a product that's kind of like a knockoff or whatever, you need to talk and reach out to these people and give your opinion on these products to either let them step up their game and tell them, hey, nice try, try again. I have another question here from Travis Green on YouTube. Have you tested the resin bowl with the heat to make sure it doesn't come apart from the clay? Yeah,
no, this I have yet to see this come apart with anything. I mean, this thing is rock solid. And in fact, I've had other manufacturers ask me how they have had the product. They're like, hey, I know that this is probably asking a lot, but what do you use? Like, now, obviously, I'm not going to tell you the secret sauce, obviously, but like that alone kind of speaks to the quality of that. We made sure we tested this at temperatures that you wouldn't be smoking at to make sure that nothing falls apart.
And our last question here with another one from Paul, because he's coming out with the fire questions today.
Yeah.
With hookah under constant attack from legislation, where do you stand with all these flavor bans? How does it basically, like, I know you directly aren't affected, but it does affect the whole market.
Yeah.
How do you think as a community we can come together to get ahead of the bans?
I love that question because it's something that I'm like super passionate about right now because, I'll be honest, like I'm not a vapor. I barely vape. Maybe I vape like 3 times a year. Don't
let me catch you vaping. If I catch you vaping in Chicago, I'm gonna fucking light you up.
What's it called? But what I've noticed is, like, okay, on Reddit, for example, Reddit's a good kind of like indicator of the general public. You know, not everybody knows about all these hookah groups and all that stuff. But on Reddit, I think the Reddit group is like 30,000 people.
Can we start some memes of Nino, king of Reddit, please? Let's get those out there. Let's get those out there. Let's circulate them, please.
I'm going with this. So there's like 30,000 people on the hookah Reddit. On the vape Reddit, there's 200,000. And one of the things that I notice is when there's a hookah ban that's happening in one state, nobody really talks about it except for like you'll hear it here and there. On the Reddit vape, I mean, obviously the White House came up with it, so it was a huge deal. But every single post is petition and fighting and what's going on and how can I fight this? That's what I want to see in the hookah market, because to be honest with you guys, when the White House is getting involved like this in flavored vape, it's only a matter of time before the vape company goes, well, why are you telling us that we can have strawberry flavored vape, but this guy can make a tobacco that's flavored? That's also appealing to kids, right? Yeah. So it's only a matter of time. This is very serious. And the only way, because we're so small, we have to be loud. We have to be.
I think the problem with that is that vaping came out of people wanting to be healthier smokers as an alternative to tobacco. So even though we are connected because we all come from that one substance, the problem is that their marketing and the way they came out full gangbusters and they said, oh, well, this is a healthier, you're not smoking tobacco. And people gravitated towards that. We are still tobacco industry. Yeah. So it's very hard for us to come out the same way. But I understand what you're saying. Fucking fly, get the fuck out of here. You're saying about that enthusiasm. How can we do it? But I still feel like hookah in America is so fragmented. I mean, you have New York, Jersey, Chicago, Florida, Texas, Idaho, Wisconsin. It's so in between where hookah is like kind of their meccas. Yeah. And then you have the West Coast, which apparently is the best coast. I don't know. I was told to say that. But yeah, like I think we still have more, we need to grow a little bit more in order to have a fighting chance. But the thing is like this, the people who should insulate us from this are the big guys.
Exactly.
The Fumaris and the Al Fakers and the Zoomer, and they have been. And all these the pipe manufacturers, you got John and George Johnson over there doing their thing. They're doing what they can, but they only have so much ammo because we don't have the biggest voice in the community. And we're new to this.
And don't get it twisted. I mean, you say, oh, it doesn't affect us or that. It affects all of us, because if nobody's able to buy tobacco anymore, who's going to buy a bowl? Or who's going to buy this? And who's going to buy that? It's going to kill the market. Mm-hmm. And so it affects everybody, even though I don't make tobacco or anything like that. But it's going to kill the community. It's going to be a lot harder if you're going to have to smuggle tobacco into the country just so you can smoke. It's going to whittle the amount of people down.
Listen, we're going to have to start putting it up our butts. We're going to have tobacco mules that go between states. I guess it's going to have to happen. Not to go too deep into this. They just wanted to know a little bit of where you stand and what can you do from your end, I think is the major question. Because it's very hard. It's still very new territory. It's a very hard thing to answer.
Just continue to raise awareness. There's a Chicago hookah chat that we have for all the people that have attended the Chicago hookah meetup. A lot of them are from Chicago, but there's other people that are out there. And I posed the question this morning. I said, hey, guys, what do you think? I want people to talk about it. And everybody's like, I don't think it's going to – like, you can't be naive about it. Like, you have to take it seriously.
Because it steamrolls real fast. Yes, because this senator looks at that senator, oh, that should pass there? Well, if that
Michigan.
Yeah, if that's going to get me reelected, then if that's what the people want, that's what I'll vote, regardless of the minority vote, what the minority says. So, really quickly, you're on board with it. You're backing it. I think that was the main thing. People just wanted to know that you're on board. Do you think that one day you'll open your own dedicated studio to your bowls?
That's a tough question, because it goes back to what we just talked about. How hard is it for me to invest full force when the market might be dead in a year or two? Right?
Well, like in a perfect world, would you like to open?
I would love to, but you know what? I'll be honest with you. There's brands that are making millions of dollars that have talked to me about it, and they're afraid, okay? They're like, oh, they're just trying to make what they can at the time that they can do it, because nobody knows what the future's gonna bring. So for me, I would love to do it, but it would just not make any sense for me to, dump and invest all that when we're on the brink of who the hell knows what's going to happen.
I think it's kind of one of those things where it's even like, do I even want to open a hookah lounge at this point? Because you don't know, it's not a surefire thing. With the success of your brand, right? Do you feel like your hometown of Chicago has played a big factor into that?
I'm super fortunate that we've been able to forge a community here, and through the Chicago Hookah Meetup at the very beginning. It was actually before the first hookah expo, our Chicago Hookah Meetup. So we were like the forefathers just bringing people together over here, and we were doing it every month. And it became super time consuming, and it became difficult with people's schedules and whatnot. And we lowered that to, after a year of doing that, to every quarter. But through doing it every month, we helped bring in new people and all this stuff, and we kind of built this community here. So it's been great to have like that foundation, definitely. And through that foundation, it's gotten people from other states like yourself that you see, oh, wow, look, there's a community that meets. I want to be part of that. And then we've been super fortunate to be able to grow. I mean, HU's first frat house was in Chicago, and that helped forge those relationships,
That's true.
So it's awesome.
That's true. That's true, Nino. You were there. You were there. You had a great time.
I kind of forgot what happened.
I don't know, man.
I don't remember. It was a little fuzzy. I don't know what you put.
It's weird, Nino. I'm not wearing a belt today, but to get to the next question, we will always have the belts. Do you believe? Let's see. Let's go to the next question here. So we were talking about a little bit off camera before we started this whole thing. You had the French release, which was that's a big deal for you, being a U.S. based company to have people lined up around the block when this store is selling Mason Bowl, selling your product, and that see this hunger and this want for new products overseas. Now you recently said Australia has been going crazy over your products. How integral is overseas expansion to the future of Mason?
It's a big deal because honestly, as much as hookah is still, U.S. is still my main market, but as much as, especially hookah under fire here and whatnot, over there and overseas, it's like hookah is like part of their culture. Like it's like everything to them. You see the expos, they're quadruple the size.
I mean, if you look just in general where like the Middle Eastern cultures are, they're throughout all over. They're in Australia. They're in England. They're all over the place, So they bring that culture with them, and they just expand wherever they are. So you definitely have a market everywhere. I don't know how much, like even South America, like those guys down there are rabid for new hookah products.
The South American market is super tough because it's like very hard to break in there. There's only a couple brands because their price points are really low over there. Whereas in Germany and France and Russia, they're willing to spend extra. But in South America, it's kind of like this price game. It's all about price.
Well, if you even look at how they consume tobacco with the 50-gram packs, they're not willing to commit to something so expensive if they can do it at a cheaper market, at a cheaper price point. And they not to shit on anyone on the South American market, because this isn't it. It's just that it's tougher there because of the culture and how they do things there. So it's just like how you were saying before off camera, each place has a different cultural, different nuance that you have to be very very aware of when you start bringing or introducing a new product into that market. You need to be respectful of how they do things there, and you can't go into like a bull in a china shop and just be like, no, this works.
You want to know the most amazing thing? What I found is anytime, what's beautiful about hookah is referrals are amazing, because anytime you have a product, 70% of the time you're smoking with friends and you talk about your setup. So what I've found is,
Nino, I talk about my pipe all the time, bro. Like after this, I'll show you my pipe. I'll show you my setup, how it's set up. Man, it's great.
I had one customer on an island. I'm not even going to point out which one it was and all that, but it was on an island. I didn't even know where it was. And it takes like a month and a half for my product to get there when it finally gets there. Because it's like so secluded. But off that island, that guy has gotten me like 50 customers that are on this island I didn't even know existed.
I'm gonna take a stab at this. Is it the Philippines? Is it cars?
No.
Oh, I thought it was close. I thought it was close. I was like, okay, that's an island.
No. But like it's like amazing like to see that grow. So last month I was looking at the numbers. Last month we shipped to 15 different countries alone.
Wow. Well, Nino,
Release.
Congratulations. You deserve all that success. We're going to keep going. Now we want to talk about basically the Chicago Meetup. The Chicago Meetup, for a lot of people, they can't get out to Vegas. They can't afford, not necessarily the ticket, but the time off. I mean, don't get me wrong. Vegas is expensive. And you have, say you go with a group of people, they're going to want to go out and do a bunch of things. And it's a price point. It becomes a destination. But something that is obtainable for, I think, for a lot of people, the airfare is relatively cheap to Chicago. You meet a lot of good people out there. A lot of people who go to the expo turn around and then still go to Chicago because it's kind of like the palate cleanser, because it is two different things. The expo's big. It's loud, it's bougie, John and Jake taking shots, poo. And then I think the Chicago Meetup takes it more back to its roots. You're sitting next to people that you don't know, sharing a hookah. If you want to share it, you can bring your own hookah. Now, can we go through a little bit? I'll run down the specifics. Chicago Meetup is Saturday, October 5th, 2019 at around 7 p.m. The time fluctuates. It's at 1901 West Chicago Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, 60622. Now, is this going to be at the original spot at the you're taking it back?
I'm taking it back, and you want to know why? Like, well, first of all, I mean, you remember there was a little bit of technical difficulty.
Wait, are you telling me there's no free Pabst Blue Ribbon this year? I'm not. That's honestly the reason why I'm not going. There's not a free 3 cases of Pabst Blue Ribbon that we can drink.
There's not a recliner of Pabst like last time, which they told me there was a PBR event the night, like the weekend before.
Yeah.
We're talking about like the biggest hipster area in Chicago, so that's the reason why.
Well, like last year's event, just to go a little bit off on a tangent, was kind of more of like an art gallery. It doubled as an art gallery. We got there, man. We couldn't be more shocked with the shit that we found. We found a bedroom somewhere in the back. Remember the fucking bedroom that we boarded up? We found a bedroom. There was a DJ booth that we found that we had tons.
There was a drum set.
There was a drum set. There was artwork and then in the outer room there was like a TV room with like a fish tank, and I was like, what? I thought it was the coolest thing ever. The cleanup was a nightmare. But we had so much fun there. It was different. We streamed the Conor McGregor Khabib fight. That was cool. Nino was nice enough to go out and get a projector so people can watch it. I know there was a little bit of an issue where people didn't want to watch the fight, but taking it back to its roots is you're in a huge room with a lot of other enthusiasts. You see these people that you've only seen online posting and stuff, and you get to go there, meet and smoke with these people, catch up with your friends. It's such a great time. There's an awesome pizza place nearby. Like, Chicago has so many good bars, so many good pizza places, so much stuff for you to do that's relatively a lower price point, and you can just have a great time. The Airbnbs are cheaper. I mean, like Nino said before with the frat house, we had such a terrific time when we were out there. I think the Chicago Meetup is something that a lot of people should at least attend once, just to get to, if you've never been out to a meetup and you're a little bit hesitant and you can't make the expo, Chicago Meetup is a great way for you to get out there and meet people. Now, there's already 26 people attending that are confirmed to attend. This is not even including vendors and the local people that come out to support you.
Yeah.
The rules are bring your own stuff. Not to say that there's not going to be stuff there, because there's always stuff to smoke there. There's always coals. But you should bring your own pipe, because the pipes are always an extension of yourself. It's always nice time to go there and flex and be like, this is my pipe. This is what I like.
And to go on that, the main reason why we did it is because you bring your own stuff and someone else can try it out. That's the whole purpose of it. Because in a hookah review and whatnot, you're watching one guy's opinion of it. But when you actually get to experience it, and everybody loves sharing their setup. Oh, like, this smoke's amazing. Try this out. So you know how many purchases of other products have happened because of the hookah meetup? Like people have tried this hookah. Oh, the purge is amazing. I think I'm gonna grab one of these. You know, we have vendors that have understood this, and so for example, for this year, we're gonna have the owner of Trifecta, Moose, is coming out. You know, he's coming out. He loves meeting with the people. Like you said, the owner of Shika, he's gonna be there. We have Fumari that's providing some new unreleased flavors to the meetup.
You got House of Hookah always shows up.
Also, Hook always shows up. He brings Tangiers because he's got the Tangiers locked down. We got Sky Distribution. They bring some of the Russian stuff out there. You know, there's even more. There's so many brands that locally. We had Alpha Kama come out twice. You know, he came out.
Badia, our buddy Badia is always a good time. He's always down, and if you see him, make sure you go grab a drink with him.
Yeah. The cool thing about the Chicago Hookah Meetup, it's basically like, you know, where the Hookah Expo is like the big like club, and you know, it's loud, everybody's doing their thing. But the Hookah Meetup is like your pub. It's like you get to sit next to like the owner of this company and just shoot the shit with them. You know, like, and it's like everybody's family. That's kind of also the reason why I brought it back. You know, I don't know how many people. If it's gonna be huge, we might have to expand it again. I'm assuming that it will be. But I wanted to kind of bring it back down to grassroots because it was more intimate in that space, and there was feedback. Everybody loved that space, but people were like, oh, you know what? I love the intimacy where, you know, we were all closer together and all that stuff. So you know what? We're doing it again over there, and it's an awesome time. You make new friends. We've even had people. We had contests, and we had people bring. I mean, with Matty Piat, like, you know, he just had a kid and whatnot. We all pitched in and bought him a Matt Pear, you know, so you get the feel good vibes too.
Yeah, no, he was super happy about that. I know a lot of people donated when he had his kid and stuff like that. That's awesome. So really quickly, if you guys have any more questions, throw them in the comments over on YouTube. Throw them in the comments, Facebook. Throw them in the comments. I think Hookah Expo is gonna be so much fun. Sadly, this will be the year that I'm not going because I am going to be moving and doing a lot of other things. I just don't have the time to do it this year, which is a disappointment. So I have to break off the fun times at Sky and the fun times over drinking with Nino at the Chicago Meetup. But I know a lot of people are going to be out there. I would love to see all your interaction, all your pictures, your videos and stuff, because I know I'm going to have a huge FOMO. Like, I'm going to totally be missing out.
Speaking of FOMO, Zomo is going to be there too. So they're coming down. So Alex and those guys, they're coming down. They're going to rep. So again, I can't wait to see everybody there. I'm super stoked for it.
Yeah, if you haven't met the new guys from Zomo, Alex and Mo, really great guys, down to earth. They get the enthusiast market. They understand the business and how to do the I guess the overall marketing in the US the right way. Not pushing it, really trying to get to know you, understanding what you're going to be doing. Caleb Painter says he's going to be there. I think he's going to be driving out there. Jeremy, I know, is going to be out there. I know Hookah University is going to be out there really repping and making sure everyone's having a good time and you know, having a really good interaction. Really quickly, while people are like forming their questions, if they have any more questions left, I wanted to get your take. What did you think about the party that we put on in Vegas, the Hookah University Frat House? What were your... Before you say like what your experience was, what was your expectation?
My expectation, I didn't know. I thought it was going to be like a smaller house. I knew it said mansion and whatnot, but I didn't realize it was going to be that big. I thought it was going to be a smaller house with maybe like 30 people there. Mm-hmm. I was like mind blown. It was like a movie. It was like, you know, there's like people by the pool, and there's like just people cooking, and there's people. I mean, it was just people in every room. Like it was amazing that you guys were able to pull that off. Major kudos.
I don't know how Hookah University pulled it off, but we did.
I think there are people that didn't even go to the expo that just were at the house party the whole time. So I don't know. Like it was like crazy. I saw people there that I didn't see at the expo, so it was like insane.
Now I'm glad you had a good time. And let's wrap this up. What's since we're on the topic of expo, what did you like about the expo, and name me one thing you didn't like about the expo?
Oh my gosh, come on now. What did I like about the expo? I mean, I I obviously love seeing the vendors. Regal had an awesome booth. Like, it was really cool to see how they came out with all their hookahs, and they came out strong and whatnot. I mean, you know, the expo grew larger than it was last year, so that was beautiful to see. It was awesome.
Did you like the Nevada tent? How cool was that? The Nevada tent, that was dope.
Yeah, the Nirvana tent, always cozy. I like that there was some, international brands there. You had Aeon there, like that was super cool to kind of see, you know, them coming into our market. Because you know what, we've gone to their markets, you know, and their expos, and I would love to see more of that. I mean, we had Work Bun was there too, right?
Work Bun was there. I mean, Aeon did a great job with the Viro or the Viro, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
I just bought one. I don't know if you had a chance to actually smoke out of that thing. I think it's magic. I honestly think this thing is so open that it's insane that this little tiny pipe can rival something like a VZ.
Does the smoke get hot though, or is it like?
No, man, it's crazy because Paul just did a live. So if you guys are interested in checking out how the Viro works, or the Viro, whatever you say it, check out on Hookah University really quick. It should be in the last couple videos. He did a little breakdown, an unboxing of it, of how it basically comes together. It's super fucking interesting. Now, not to put you on the spot, I want to say something you didn't like, but what's something that you would like to see in the future? Let me put it that way, because that's more constructive.
What's something I'd like to see in the future? Well, you know, one thing, a nitpick, also because like I was hanging out a lot by the MedWalk and Trifecta booth. I thought that the music was like a little bit loud, too loud. Like it kind of was hard to talk, right? That was like one thing. I mean, it was cool, definitely, to have those like sections where, you know, there was like live music and all that. Super cool. But sometimes like it was just like all day, like it was really loud. And I actually, when you're smoking and then you're talking really loud, that's a recipe to lose your voice within the day. So like I was like chugging water the whole time, trying to be able to still talk.
Nino, listen, next time you want to talk so loud, I'll get you a step stool so you can reach people's eyesight. No, but the thing is, like, I think when I had Jake Jacobson on, he said that was obviously a big thing. I know that booth that whoever was there right in front of the stage, I know they got blasted out of the water. Or fucking Splice fucking doing, Julian was doing the shit. He was fucking blowing everyone out. But yeah, it is always good to get everyone's point of view, everyone's take on it. Really quickly, I don't think we have any questions here. I think we're going to wrap it up, man. Nino, thank you so much. Now this is the point where you can say whatever you want. Anyone you want to shout out to, any other products that are going to be coming out in the future. This is your moment of zen, so have at it.
So I mean, obviously we have the release coming Sunday, 12:30 Central Time. Hope to see all you guys there. Again, Artisan Glass, the timber, different varieties, new stuff, and then of course the Indigo Bowls. But other than that, you know, look out. We're hoping to release something new by the end of this year. It's gonna kind of, you know, I always like to obviously make products that I myself would use. It's going to be something that's a little bit more on the traditional side. I'm going to go against the grain. Everybody's going modern. I'm going to go a little bit more traditional on this next thing, and I hope that you guys like it. Just try to make something to like mix things up a little bit. So you'll see it. It's still in the works, so I don't have an exact timeline, but like that's kind of like a little sneak tidbit. You heard it here and only here.
Dropping a little bit of tidbits, little breadcrumbs. To his website. Yeah, so check out his new launch coming out in 3 days. You can go to the website now. It's going to be the new glass and the other products. I'm still trying to catch this goddamn fly. It's fucking I think it's called, I'm going to name you Sarkis because you're so hard to slap. But anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great time. Thank you. Did I get you, motherfucker? Have a great day, and happy smoking, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Chris. Take care.